Alrighty, so I figured I'd do another video, like I said I was gonna do, and this time it's about my writing. So, as I said, my work is intricate and it's detailed, and there's many, many layers to it, as you can see on Wattpad. I'll leave the link in the box so you can check out my work. Um, I'm actually gonna go take the kid gloves off and actually tell you about my darker work. So, kick back and relax. This shit's gonna hurt, and it's gonna change your opinion on me a lot. But this is who I am. This is from you know my personal experience. This is from a time in my life where I went into a very dark place, and it was rough. So, but it's also funny. So you'll see. Um, trying to think when the hell this was. 9 years ago, 2010, I was in a very good relationship. It was good the first year. I proposed to my girlfriend at the time, who became my fiance, 6 months in, during a photo shoot we did together because I wanted to get pictures taken because we were such a good couple. And, things were going good, and she had issues with my work, and it pissed me off. Not to the point where I was like, I fucking hate you, pissed me off. Like, pissed me off like, oh, that's great. It's like, you want somebody to accept who you are as a person, and she had an issue with my writing, my romantic pieces that I wrote for other chicks over the years. And she got very offended by it. She realized, I can't read this. You wrote that for some other chick. You must love her so much. And if you're a guy and you went through this kind of shit, or if you're a girl and you go through that jealous phase all the fucking time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, I was on AP, and this is when I was really enjoying all poetry before I left it. There was a contest called Dark Right Challenge, and basically, what is you write the contest runner gives you different prompts for each round until the final round. And me, being me, I went all out and got gold my way. So one, I was sick of Twilight because that saga pissed me the fuck off. Back then, it pissed me off. That pissed me off. Number two, there were no good vampire movies out back then that I can remember. I don't know. There probably were, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. So I'll come back to that eventually. Number three, I was just tired of I got so tired of her not, getting into my work because she couldn't accept, that I had feelings for women in the past, but I don't have feelings for anymore. I've moved on from them. It's old ass shit. I was into them early ass 2000s and whatnot. And whatever, she couldn't get over it. So she refused to read it. And then I started working on my own vampire creation. I put everything negative into him. I took everything bad, all the dark shit that I knew, I threw into him, called him Thaxter Jones. Thaxter Jones. That's how you say his name, Thaxter Jones. And for a while, I really enjoyed the high I was getting from writing him because he's a sadistic, mass murdering, rapist vampire. And he's a pedophile. So, yeah, I wrote about a pedophile. Fun times. I put everything in there. It's detailed, it's gory, it's gruesome, it's amazing, it's a middle finger to the Twilight Saga. It's everything a vampire should be, but Hollywood's too chicken shit to actually make a real vampire movie because everybody today is a fucking pussy. So I went all out with this dude, and it was just so much fun. Like, everything just, it flowed so good. And I wrote him backwards. Well, no, I started him off with one poem from 2006 called My Dark Side. And this was before I met my fiance 4 years later. So if you're following along, you get where I'm going with the time frames and timeline. So I wrote that in '06. Didn't really pay it any mind. I was like, oh, whatever. 4 years later, 2010, Dark Ride Challenge came around. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me try this out. See how it goes. My fiance loved him. Fucking crazy, right? Like, damn. That's crazy. And it was just, she loved him so much. And I loved him a lot more because, my creation, he's original as fuck. He's doesn't give a fuck about society. He plays by his own rules. He has no moral code, honestly. Although I might actually add to it because he's on hiatus at the moment. I haven't even finished the Masterpiece collection or edition of his story yet because I haven't felt like writing him in a while. But anyway, so he's also into incest too. Fun times. And he has kids, so there you go. He fucks his own daughters. So I made him as dark and twisted as can be. And it warped my mind for a little bit. And I can look back on it in retrospective and literally see how twisted and shit it got. A lot of him was a mirror image of how my now ex, really made me feel and whatnot. Not murdering, not a murderous feeling and shit, but more mental, because she suffered from borderline personality disorder and schizoaffective disorder. And if you don't know what those are, you should look those up. And she was also bipolar and manic depressive. Yeah. So you can, if you have ever dated somebody with any of those or that combination, yeah, it was rough for me. It was rough for us because it would go back and forth, and it frustrated me a lot. So, in trying to get her to like my work, I made him, and my only godsend in keeping my sanity with that was another creation of mine, Amy Jacobs. So I threw her into the story without her knowing, because she got pissed off about that shit too. But anyway, so Thaxter Jones. He is, well, I told you what he is, and tell you how he is. He's man, he gives no fucks. He's like Deadpool times 100. Literally. Times 100. And he's just so crazy and egomaniac and demented and just batshit crazy, but also funny as fuck about murdering. And I made it that way because it's like I told you before, I don't really focus on making a Venn diagram or spiderweb or plot summary or, character bio, any of that shit. I just write away or type as I go. But now I write down stuff so I don't forget, and that's helpful for me, and it keeps me, it keeps me on track and keeps me focused so I don't forget shit. But when I was working on Thaxter, that just like he just jetted through, and I said I wrote them backwards. So 2010, I wrote Thaxter Jones. Go away. Facebook. I wrote Thaxter Jones, Bag of Bones. That was part 2 of his story. And that's set 20 years after what happened to him. It's just 20 years later. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. 20 years later. It's an easy fucking setup. Get you in a second. So I wrote that. That was written. That got me a gold trophy because it was detailed as fuck. The characters were engaging. The premise was, what was that? What did he give me? Oh, 2 twin girls that were murderers. That's how I made his daughters. Yeah, I went with that shit. That was crazy. I was like, how can I make this fun and unique? I was like, fuck it, I'll make them his daughters. Easy as hell, right? Plenty easy. Because I made it everything offensive as fuck. Like, there's rape, there's torture, there's murder, there's lots of fucking blood and death. There's gory flashbacks, there's just everything. But it's tame. It's the first version of it. Then there were other contests for the Dark Right Challenge. I'm trying to remember everything because it's a lot to remember with him because he's so pushed him out of my mind for a while because I don't really deal with this shit. There were a lot of Dark Right Challenge contests after that, and I won some, I lost some. I took home gold for Bag of Bones, silver or bronze for one of his poems I wrote. I forget which one. And then I took home silver or bronze for the first part of a story, Thaxter Jones, to the last. And then I decided to put both of those together and called it the Special Extreme Unrated Edition and added in a little bit more stuff. And then my one friend, who I've known since 2011, I think, he got a hold of my story and he read it. He loved it. He lives in Australia. He's cool as fuck. He said, you should look at this, because as is, it's a great fucking story. But you should go back and, expand on his backstory and add in more stuff. And that's what I did. I went back and I was like, damn, you're right. I can do a lot more. So I wrote more backstory. I expanded on his master. I expanded on his master / maker. Him and Amy's relationship, or AJ's relationship with him, the kids, what he went through, just everything. And one of my favorite scenes in that story is where he encounters a little girl. Don't worry, it doesn't get bad, I promise. It's just it's menacing, but not dirty at all. It's just really menacing, and I loved how menacing it was. He comes across this little girl, and he tells her his lullaby. It's basically like Freddy Krueger from Elm Street, the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, but it's in his style, and it's so good. It was so menacing, and I love the way it came off and how it played out. And he doesn't rape her or anything. He doesn't fuck her at all. He doesn't. He just tells her to spread the word. It was so menacing. And I plan on going over the story again because there's a lot of editing I got to do with that shit. I have editing. I have add-ons to put in. I have lots of trimming, because my favorite words to use are and, so, and because. Pain in my ass. So I wrote a handful of stuff on him. I stopped writing Thaxter Jones material in 2012 or 2013, I think. Because honestly, he got too dark for me. Like, I couldn't. My eye. That's better. He got too dark for me. Like, there are some people who can write, uber fucking dark shit and be like, how you doing? I'm like, huh. I'm cool. Me with dark shit? I can do dark shit, but Thaxter is like over the edge dark for me. And he's so twisted and methodical and intricately woven that you want to be his friend, but you also fucking hate him, and you don't want to be around him because he'll rape and kill your ass of turning at the same time. And it just, I don't know, he's really difficult to work on. I mean, I've tried to write him in the past couple years. Can't. I can't bring myself to do it. Because it means going down a rabbit hole that I don't know if I'll come back out of, and it's hard. And if you're a writer like me, and you know about the rabbit hole effect, and that trying to climb out after, it's rough. It's so rough to come out of that rabbit hole with him, because he is really demented and really crazy. So I took all the crazy shit me and my ex went through and made that his warped persona, in a sense. I mean, you get what I'm saying. I put everything into him and then some. It just, man, that boy is fucking nuts. And to be honest, I'm kind of ashamed of him. I'm ashamed that, I wrote something so demented that, people actually liked it and enjoyed it, and he actually got banned off of all poetry twice. Yeah, twice. He got banned off of there twice. Fucking funny. Oh, man. Because AP has loopholes in its guidelines. Like, one of their dumbest rules, you can write about rape, but as long as it's supportive, or not, if it's a support piece for rape survivors. If you survived the rape, you can write a piece about that. If it's describing a rape, it's banned. Okay, that's dumb, but I get the rules, but whatever. He's just a rough. He is really hard to get into. And as much as I want to write him, I really can't. And I probably won't write on him until I'm actually feeling ready to actually jump down that rabbit hole again. So, oh well. So that was the sordid tale of one of my darker characters and stories. So if you want to read him, your choice. I even put a warning on the on my Wattpad about him, like a full-on parental advisory, because everybody gets offended by the dumbest shit. I hate society. I hate it so bad. Like, ugh. But yeah. So if you want to read my darker side, be my guest. It might change your opinion about me. It might not. I don't know. It depends. Everybody has their outlooks on how I am, so whatever. Grain of salt. So I'll be back. I am going to go a little bit deeper into my persona, so stay tuned.